Welcome to my channel. Today, I want to talk about something that many of us older folks hold dear, our books. Over the years, we've gathered stories from every corner of life, novels that moved us, biographies that inspired us, and cookbooks we promise to use more often. These books sit quietly on our shelves like old friends waiting for a visit. But as time goes on, those shelves can become crowded, heavy, and even overwhelming. The simple joy of reading can get buried under stacks of dust and forgotten titles. It's not easy to admit that some of those books no longer serve us. Yet learning how to keep only the books that truly matter is one of the most peaceful gifts we can give ourselves. I remember when my own shelves started to overflow. I used to think, these books define who I am. And in some ways they did. Each one represented a chapter of my journey. But one day, as I tried to find a particular book, I realized I couldn't even reach it without moving 10 others. That was the moment I understood I wasn't curating a library anymore. I was maintaining clutter. I sat there surrounded by stacks and felt a strange mix of love and exhaustion. It wasn't about losing knowledge. It was about finding freedom. I knew it was time to let go, but I wanted to do it with care and respect. Letting go of books isn't about giving up reading. It's about creating space for the stories that still speak to your soul. As seniors, we've lived long enough to know that not every possession needs to stay forever. Some things, like books, were perfect for a season of life, but no longer fit who we are now. Minimalism for seniors isn't cold or harsh. It's gentle, thoughtful, and deeply personal. It's about gratitude for what we've read and peace with what we release. When we let go of excess, we make room for meaning. The first step in keeping only the books that matter is to take them all off the shelves. See them clearly for what they are, not just objects but memories. Touch each one, feel its weight, and remember what it brought into your life. Ask yourself, does this book still inspire me? Do I plan to read it again? Does it hold a message that speaks to who I am today? You'll be surprised by how many books you can appreciate, thank, and then release with love. Some books carry emotional weight because they remind us of people we've loved or moments we've lived. I had a collection of poetry that belonged to my late wife. Every time I looked at it, I felt both warmth and sorrow. One day I realized I didn't need the entire collection to remember her. I just needed the few poems we used to read together. So I kept those and passed the rest on to a local library. The relief was immediate. The memory stayed, but the clutter didn't. Sharing your books can be an act of kindness. There are community centers, retirement homes, and small libraries that would be thrilled to receive your gently used books. When we pass along a story, it doesn't disappear. It continues its journey with someone new. That's a beautiful thought, isn't it? You're not discarding something you love. You're letting it live again in someone else's hands. Giving with intention brings as much joy as receiving, and it turns decluttering into an act of connection. I often hear people say, "But what if I want to read it someday?" That's fair. I've asked myself the same thing. The truth is, if a book has been untouched for years, chances are it's not going to suddenly call your name again. Our tastes evolve, our needs shift, and our time becomes precious. Letting go doesn't close the door to learning. It opens space for new discoveries that actually matter to you now. You can always borrow, listen to an audiobook, or revisit your favorites digitally. Minimalism doesn't mean less joy. It means more intention. There's also something healing about seeing an open space where clutter used to be. The shelves breathe again, and so do you. When I finally cleared half my bookcase, my living room felt lighter. I noticed sunlight reaching corners it hadn't touched in years. That physical lightness reflected in my mood. Calmer mornings, quieter thoughts, and less distraction. Every remaining book felt special, like a chosen friend rather than forgotten furniture. That's what minimalism for seniors is all about. A peaceful home that reflects who you are now. Keeping only the books that truly matter also deepens your relationship with reading itself. When you open a book from your carefully chosen shelf, you give it your full attention. You're no longer glancing at a dozen others, wondering which one to pick next. You can savor the words, reflect on them, and let them sink in. Reading becomes slower, more mindful, and more rewarding. It's not about consuming information, it's about connecting with meaning. In a way, you rediscover what made you love books in the first place. As we age, simplicity becomes more than just convenience. It's essential for peace of mind. We want spaces that are easy to clean, easy to navigate, and free from unnecessary stress. A heavy bookshelf can collect dust and even pose a physical risk. By lightening our load, we make our home safer and easier to maintain. Every book we keep should earn its place, either through knowledge, comfort, or sentiment. This doesn't mean stripping joy away. It means designing a life that supports it. When you decide which books to keep, try this simple approach. One shelf for wisdom, one for joy, and one for memories. Wisdom holds the books that still teach you something valuable. Joy includes the ones that make you smile or inspire creativity. Memories are for those rare treasures that carry deep emotional ties. Everything else can find a new home. You'll find that even with fewer books, your library feels richer, because each one now has purpose. It's also important to remember that you are not your possessions. Your knowledge, your values, and your memories live within you, not on your shelves. A minimalist approach helps remind us of that truth. We can cherish what we've learned without holding on to every symbol of it. That realization can feel freeing, even spiritual. Many seniors describe it as a quiet relief, a sense that life no longer owns them. They own it. That's the heart of mindful simplicity. For those who struggle emotionally with letting go, take your time. This process isn't meant to be rushed. Spend a week with your collection, reflect, and decide gradually. Each book can be a small goodbye, a thank you for the chapter it represented. It's okay to cry, to smile, or to remember moments long gone. Decluttering is not just about physical space, it's about emotional release. You're closing doors gently, not slamming them shut. When you've finished sorting, take a moment to sit quietly and look at your newly arranged shelves. Notice how calm they feel. Every spine you see is now intentional, a reflection of your present, not your past. That stillness carries into your heart. You'll find that the urge to accumulate fades, replaced by gratitude for what remains. You may even discover that you read more often now, because your space invites peace and focus. That's the subtle magic of keeping only what matters. I also suggest creating a small reading nook just for you. A comfortable chair, good lighting, and a cup of tea can transform reading into a daily ritual of calm. Place your favorite books within reach, just a handful. Make it a sacred corner for reflection, not just recreation. When your environment is peaceful, your mind follows. Many seniors tell me that this small act changes how they start and end each day. It's not just about books. It's about creating a life that feels balanced. Minimalism doesn't mean erasing your history. It means honoring it while letting it breathe. The stories you've read are already part of who you are. Nothing can take that away. When you pass on a book, you're sharing that legacy. You're allowing your experiences to touch someone else's life in a new way. That's a beautiful kind of immortality, isn't it? Simplicity, in the end, becomes a bridge between generations. In time, you may even inspire your children or grandchildren to do the same. They'll see that it's possible to live meaningfully without excess. They'll remember the calm of your home and the thoughtfulness behind every object you kept. That's a powerful lesson to leave behind, one that speaks louder than words. The way we live teaches as much as the things we say. By embracing minimalism for seniors, we lead by example. We show that aging gracefully is also about living purposefully. Sometimes I sit with my smaller, neater bookshelf and smile. Every title there tells a story worth retelling. Each one earned its place through love, usefulness, or deep meaning. The rest? They've gone on to new homes, continuing their stories elsewhere. I don't miss them. I'm grateful for them. My home feels lighter, my mind clearer. That's the gift of simplicity. So if your shelves are overflowing, take a deep breath and remember, you don't have to keep everything to keep the memories. You just have to keep what truly matters. Books are meant to enrich our lives, not overwhelm them. Choose the ones that still bring joy, comfort, or wisdom, and let the others go gently. You'll find freedom in the space that remains, And maybe like me, you'll discover that a smaller library can hold a bigger sense of peace. Sometimes keeping only the books that truly matter becomes a quiet spiritual journey. You start realizing that simplicity isn't about scarcity. It's about clarity. Each empty space on your shelf becomes a place for calm thoughts to rest. You begin to see your home not as a storage space. Thanks for watching, my friends. If this message spoke to you, consider subscribing for more gentle reflections on minimalism for seniors. Let's continue learning, growing, and simplifying together, one peaceful step at a time.